Welcome everybody to another episode of Through the Noise. And after finally chasing Gaurav on Slack, calendar invites, and on LinkedIn, I finally have him on the episode to discuss what he has been doing for B2B companies when it comes to SEO.
Thanks, Vani, for inviting me here.
So let's deep dive into the topic. And I think everybody's going to like this because everyone's talking about LLM SEO, AI SEO. And for context, Gaurav has been helping companies working with us. He's been working on LLM strategies from scratch. And if you see his LinkedIn, you'll probably see a lot of insight and research that he does in his spare time also. So, Gaurav, my first question to kickstart this conversation. What does LLM optimization really mean? And how is it different from traditional SEO?
So, LLM optimization, if you would ask me by the definition, of course, optimizing your website for LLMs, very basic, okay. But how is it different than SEO? Here's the here's the major game, because I've been seeing a lot of articles and a lot of posts, and you have also shared a lot of posts with me, of course, on LinkedIn that now again new LLM SEO strategy is here. Then again, after a week, again someone else would be saying that wow, this is the new strategy, and then after a month, then again someone else would be saying something else, right? But when I ask myself, and we both have had this conversation a lot of times, right, that how is it actually different than what the things that we were doing it before? Now, of course, now if I just think about some of the strategies like adding a TLDR at the start of the blog, right? Like previously we used to add summary at the end of the blog, and now we have started adding TLDR at the start of the blog, right? And the comparison tables, I would say, right? The comparison tables earlier, when I was a typical in-house SEO guy, I just used to have a better UI UX on the blog side. Like even if it has a basic difference, I used to get the graphic image for it, like a good creative, right? But now I just see if there's a scope of adding a comparison table. If we can add a comparison table, that because that content is being more readable by LLMs. This is what they have been telling us. I am still not sure. I have executed a lot of stuff, but I still haven't seen a lot of result, very honestly, if I tell you. But yes, our major work is to try all these things. And adding TLDRs, yes, that has worked majorly for in Google AI overviews, I would say, for some of the blogs, but for some of the things, it hasn't worked, right? But Vani, like since you have been into this game since a very long time, and if somebody, like, let's just take an example of your client only, right? And if your client comes to you, okay, Vanhishikha, if we want to optimize this website from LLM SEO perspective and not from traditional SEO perspective, right? Now, when a client tells you something like this, you would also go in a little bit of flashback, kind of like what is the actual person telling you, right? Because of course, man, 80 to 90% things are kind of fundamentals only, right? And all these new shiny objects that are coming on internet saying that wow, you do this, technically they are telling you to do this exact same thing only. They have just changed their way of saying it, I would say. For example, you have to make sure that your content is readable. Are you sure previously you were not making sure that your content is being readable? Like, of course, man, like that is one of the basic things that you have to make sure. They are just wrapping all those things in a good gift wrapper, I would say, telling you that yeah, you should do this, you should do that, you should do JSON LD schema. Wow, I wasn't doing that earlier, as if, right? So all these things that are coming up now, suddenly people are telling you that you have to target query fan out queries, right? And now another entity optimization. Now all these things are coming up, right? Now, of course, fan out queries, of course, now even I am planning to execute it. I have executed it somewhere, but I still haven't seen the result right now. But entity optimization, like I'm still not aware, like all these good shiny words suddenly coming up, and all these people they are just complicating the simple thing more. It looks like that to me. So I would
Mhm.
say major difference between LLM SEO and AI and traditional SEO is that just the 10 to 15% of the things that now you have to sound more technical. And of course, there would be some of the things that now you have to start focusing more on PR. Actually, PR was also kind of important for traditional SEO, if I'm not wrong, right?
Right.
Now people are telling you do PR activity, Wikipedia, and all of that. It was always there. Okay, I would say if someone would ask me, Like, what have I started doing? I would say, okay, now of course images are really important, but the basic images that I used to add earlier also for basic comparison and stuff. So now I do not do that. I just make sure that we are adding a comparison table through HTML or CSS, like however it is possible. I just ask the developer to do it and add a TLDR at the start of the block. And like TLDR thing actually has worked for me, not for LLMs, but for a Google AI overviews. So I think if something has worked for me, then I would of course believe that yeah, it has worked for me. And in traditional SEO, if someone would ask me like, what is a traditional SEO for you and what is your process, like something that has worked for me, I would believe in it. So I would do it, right? So this is what my take on this. Like, what do you think?
I think I absolutely second you. We've had like so many conversations around how to explain like traditional SEO and then this new LLM, GEO, right? All of these new terms. And I think there was this one day when we had both been on calls, we had ranted a lot, explained a lot to clients, and I had eventually made a LinkedIn post out of it that, you can't come to us with a query saying that, hey, we want to optimize for the LLMs, but you don't even have your meta titles in place. How is that something that you just skip and then suddenly jump onto another bandwagon? Like it's almost like saying, hey, I want to become HubSpot, but I don't want to put in the work that they did. Find me growth hacks. And we all know that those growth hacks don't really work. For instance, if we dial back a couple of years, right, there was this time when programmatic SEO became the thing. Everybody did it. But how many people really succeeded at it? And by succeed, I don't mean an inflated traffic number. I actually mean how many people drove conversions, business outcomes out of it. Very few. Why? Because everybody picked up that this is what programmatic SEO is. I can quickly generate so many pages. Everybody created these directories, listicles, etc. And then they diluted their entire topical authority. There came one update from Google and it got screwed. Right. Because the whole point was that they never got the fundamentals in place that intent matters, value matters, relevancy matters. I feel that when we try to tell people that you can't skip the fundamentals, they feel that we are not on track with AISEO or GEO or LLM, or maybe we are not doing what the world is doing because there are like a bunch of apparently, expert people on the internet who are talking about how it is completely different. I personally believe it's not different. It requires additional work, yes, because just like any other marketing tactic, the scope of search has increased. So I would just say it's an extension of what we used to do as traditional SEO. But can you just not do traditional SEO and do this? That would be wrong.
One more thing that pisses me off is like I was having a conversation with one client, and he was telling me, okay, Gaurav, now what other things that we can do for LLM SEO? And I just told him that I think first we need to clean up your website, because your website actually contains the type of blogs that are not your core offerings. For example, we have a customer retention platform, for example, right? And you are just talking about 100 best slogans to send on Diwali, right? 100 best things to say here, 100 best things to post on social media, to do this, to do that. I think your first job is to clean up your whole website, because you are actually kind of posting the content that is not your main core offering, and this is proper spammy, right? People, like, after this programmatic boom came, people started posting irrelevant content on their website, and then they started seeing a sudden drop, right? So the conclusion is like scaled content thing or programmatic SEO, all these things actually works for you until it doesn't. So what I really feel is like all these scaled content activities, like people are writing content directly through AI. Like, okay, you can write through AI. Google doesn't have a problem with the process of writing a content, but you being directly telling content writers that no, now your thing is now content writers won't be able to sustain in this industry. Are you pretty sure about it? Because see, we also know a lot of AI content is ranking on Google. But what people are not checking is for how long that AI content is ranking. If the performance is going down or not. If you are using AI to write the content, you also need to get it reviewed by a human who is a subject matter expert into this particular field, who has been writing, and he actually knows how a human wants to read the content, I would say. So I think do not really have to rely on AI. And at the end of the day, a human is only going to buy the product. So humanize.
I think the problem starts, and it has been there for years, right? Because when we say SEO, what do people really think? It's a bunch of keywords and building out backlinks. That's it. When we say content marketing, what do people think? Just producing a lot of content. They forget about the marketing part of it, which is distribution, repurposing, syndication. It just doesn't come to them. So I feel that even right now, when everybody is trying to chase this new trend of showing up on AI searches, they're forgetting the fundamentals that, okay, if you're looking at LLM SEO, it is still LLM SEO, which is again optimization, right? We're going back again, doing the same things. But people just don't want to pay attention to, what they need to get at the base to crack the opportunity that happens right at the top with the new trends. I feel that that's like a huge gap. And I'm glad you brought up content, because my next question is actually basis that, because a lot of companies right now, right, are creating content with AI. I think a lot of people that we are also right now working with, and we're seeing this firsthand as well. Companies want to scale their content, publishing 12, 15, 50, even 100 pieces in a month. Right? Either their briefs are entirely AI generated or their content is entirely AI generated. So how should companies rethink the kind of content that they are creating right now that LLMs can summarize and generate answers from, in your opinion?
We have both are actually right now working for a brand who is actually generating 20 to 30 articles per month, and that is straight up from AI. It doesn't matter that we have recommended them to not to use AI at that pace, but let's ignore that fact because we have to. Anyways, so coming back to your question, adding a lot of content is not that much efficient. I think removing a lot of content has now become a efficient, majorly for SaaS, I would say. Just imagine we are working for a SaaS company, right? And we are publishing somewhere around 20 to 30 articles per month. Can you imagine the height of cannibalization that is going to happen? For example, let's just assume my primary keyword is Vanhishikha. Let's just take example of that, right? Now, what these folks are doing is they are just going directly to Chat GPT. They are telling Chat GPT, okay, now we have to rank on this keyword called as Vanhishikha, right? Please create content calendar for us for about 40 to 50 articles that we are planning to publish, right? Now, do you really think now whatever the recommendation that actually comes, and I have actually witnessed this firsthand. Chat GPT would recommend you straight up 100 facts about Vanishika. Who is Vanishika? What does she do? Are you sure? Like 100 facts about Vanishika, who the content won't overlap and cannibalization won't happen. You getting my point, right? So after even after you post those 40, 50, 100 articles that are being written by AI, the content calendar being created by AI, but after you publish all those things, you would also see one crazy spike on your results on Google Search Console. You would see that light blue and purple line of impression and clicks going up, and you would be like, and when you will see it, you will be like, okay, what bullshit Gaurav was saying on that video recording call. But after 2 to 3 weeks only, you would see a major drop also, and it's never coming back. Seeing, that I think this is the major thing where companies need to rethink that you should not 100% rely on AI. I would say I do understand that you want to be more efficient, you want to post more things to stay relevant there, but there's a way to do it, like humanize your AI. Writing
Mhm.
100 articles but nothing is providing any value, this is kind of a thin content only, because if AI is writing your content, all that material is somewhere there, like you are not really providing any different value. Now I do understand that of course you cannot really expect everyone, like even if you are a writer and someone comes to you and telling you that, okay Vani, we want to write an article, of course you won't be able to write all the unique pointers there, but you will have something, you will have a testimonial or a crazy stat facts, to add there, to be little more different than your competition, I would say, but you can never expect AI to do that. That is where the game changer is, and this is where I feel that companies will have to rethink on their strategy.
I think one fun fact right over here, like when we started Contensify, The goal was to help all of these B2B SaaS companies really simplify their product, which typically meant that we would get a better understanding of what their product is, who their ICP was, and then write for them. This was roughly 11 years ago. And now we've come back a whole circle because now AI demands you to be relevant. And I'm absolutely loving the new updates that are getting rolled out, right? For that matter, there is this one client that we were working for the last 3.5 years. We were practically publishing anywhere between 25 to 40 pieces a month and human written content, but AI generated briefs. And exactly what you said, right? Where you said that I want to rank for X. And they put it into GPT, they get 40 to 50 topics, and then those 40 to 50 briefs, right? Those topics were practically like how best tools for X, right? Best tools for X for free, best tools for X for paid, best tools for X in the US, best tools for X in the UK. It was practically visible that it is going to have overlapping keywords, overlapping content, overlapping opinion, unless you want to say something specific about, let's say, that, okay, if you're talking about the US article, are you adding any US stats into it? Are you adding any US behavior into it? The UK, or are we just rehashing the same thing over and over again? And because they were an old client, so we did bring it up to them that this is repetitive. There's going to be cannibalization, and you're going to sound so repetitive that yes, you will see that spike, but you will never see conversions. We ran that strategy, and that strategy was actually guided by another SaaS company which cracked the code to SEO. That person became the SEO consultant for this client of ours while we were the content marketing and production arm. And he suggested that, we need to scale up to a production of 100 pieces in a month. That was the strategy. The strategy was not relevancy. The strategy was not how much of the product are we talking about. The strategy was just production of a lot of content. Flagged it the day we started. And then 3 months down the line, the internal team faced a huge backlash from the founder because initially the founder really liked, the increase in traffic. But eventually the founder did not like the fact that the traffic is not converting. And sadly, their performance marketing campaigns that initially saw a dip in the CAC, they also started to see, leads coming in that were not relevant. So I think now is like literally the time that when you have AI to fasten the speed of content creation, why not just, kind of spend 5 minutes on top of it and make that piece yours rather than just borrowed. But yeah, I think that's a place that companies really need to rethink what their content tilt is and what their unique, proposition is.
Actually, you know what? Like, of course, like since the AI, like after this AI coming into all the picture, and of course, there are a lot of things that has improved also. Like our process of working, I would say. Like, of course, I'm not a proper AI against person. Like, I also use AI for a lot of stuff, I would say, right? But you need to figure out that thin line, like for what all things you can actually use AI and for what all things you don't really have to use AI for. Now, for example, like the AI workflows that we all have created, for small things. Now, creating an AI workflow to create TLDRs for your blogs in bulk. For example, you want for 50 blogs, for 100 blogs, right? Now, the content is already there. On those blogs, the content is already there. You just have to add a URL. The bot will go check the content, and according to it will create a TLDR, right? For those small kind of activities, you can actually use AI. For image creation also, I would say that yeah, sometimes you can use AI to audit the content also from the dimensions or matrix that Google has given from EEAT perspective. That also you can do. But the entire content generation thing, if you are planning to do that with AI workflow and thinking that yeah, it would work for me, no, you are actually living in a fool's paradise, my friend, because that is never gonna work for you, right? So I think at the end of the day, it would be majorly about like finding that thin line that is there, and once you understand that, then I won't say that yeah, then yeah, you would be a successful SEO. Then yeah, I would call you a basic SEO person who knows what to do, when to do, and how to do, and why to do, of course.
This was actually also going to be partially my next question that everybody on the internet is talking about how we are automating SEO, how we are automating content production for SEO, what should stay human in SEO workflows, and what can be safely automated with AI? I know that this varies from company to company, person to person, experience to experience, but in your experiments so far, like what do you recommend can be automated successfully? I mean, at least till 70-80%. And what do you think still requires a good chunk of human brain on top of it?
Okay. What all things that can be done via AI? First is like whatever the small task that you have, right? For example, if I want to gather all the people also ask questions, right, from Google search, right? And then I want to write answer for those questions. But I want those answers to be taken up from the blog that I have written. Let's just take this scenario. One environment is Google search, another environment is the article that you have written, right? You want to answer those people also ask questions with the answer that is actually kind of there in your article. For that thing actually you can use AI workflow. Now for example, you have hundreds of those articles, you have written hundreds of those articles. Let's just imagine I know it is a very heavy number, but let's just imagine you have hundreds of those articles. Now you want to optimize those articles with the people also ask questions and for FAQ purposes. So you can actually do that with AI workflow. You again, I will have to mention, you can create TLDR. You can actually kind of create schemas also. Schemas still I'm not sure, like you would want to like verify schemas after getting those from AI workflow, but still like just make sure you verify those. And what other things actually you can do, I'm not sure, like you can actually audit from the matrix that Google has given you, E81 again. But what all things that you should not be doing is like content generation again. Like I think I will have to mention it again and again, I will say, because that has become the major thing, and that people are using content AI for to generate the content. And actually one thing for which we can use AI for is data analysis actually. For example, I have a lot of data, but I do not like earlier, like before pre-chat GPT phase was there, when we all had hundreds of tabs with Google Sheets on our laptops, and we just have to integrate this data to here and add this data to here. I think that thing has actually got more sorted now, because now since you have chat GPT or other LLMs, so you can just go there and tell that, okay, this is there, this is there, can you please create a consolidated Google Sheet to do my life more easier? So yeah, it would do that. So actually you should be knowing like what your final output should look like. See, I have said it before also, like this chat GPT and LLM thing is kind of Google Maps. You should be knowing like where you are starting from and what your destination is, right? And you should also know how to drive, of course, because once you enter your destination, that means you know your destination, what your final output would look like. You just go there, and that is how I think we all should use AI for. Nothing for a very big. You should not use AI blindly. Is that I would say.
Yeah, I think what everything sums up to and basis different conversations that I've been having with experts as well. Start with a strategy. If you don't know why you're starting and where you want to go, AI can't quite save you, and that holds applicable not just to SEO, it holds applicable to content marketing, social media marketing, even PR, or anything that you're doing. Like we are seeing a lot of companies now suddenly create a lot of AI agents. What is the purpose of it? Is it driving a business outcome for you, or are you simply just, kind of cashing in on the hype of other people? They're building AI agents, so we should also build five AI agents as our brand name. I mean, sure, it can be a growth hack, but at the same time, what is the long term vision of it? It's just not there. I feel that one more thing that I keep telling everybody, and I think you've also seen me write in those documentation that we provide to clients, is set guardrails around how you're using AI. It could be for any purpose within your team. Content specifically, because our content has become a key driver across platforms for AI, right? So we do write there that, okay, you want to use AI, do it. But at the same time, spend 20% more time on it to make it sound a little relevant to you. Like I wouldn't know no that what the stakeholder is thinking in their head about how what their product can actually do. Does AI know that? No, because that information is stored in your head. So if you can bring that information from the stakeholder's head into your content, that is what makes it different. Otherwise, it's just a curation of anything and everything that is available on the internet. Right? So I feel that that's definitely one rule to follow. Okay, have a 70-30 mix. 70% bring efficiency with AI, but 30% also use your head. Like the brain exists for a reason. So let's use it. But I really love how you said that, some things that can be automated are the mundane tasks. I think one thing that I am now using AI for pretty much is like data consolidation. How do we want to, like, present a certain number in a report? What are we wanting to say? So that's something that I've been constantly exploring. Again, it still requires that human level of, is it coherent? Is it making sense? Is it what the client wants to hear in a report, for example? Right. So I'm still adding that little bit of layer on top of it, that okay, yeah, data consolidation, sure, it works, but it's literally reduced the time it takes me to do that, which is great. So I feel that that's an automation that I do recommend everybody does. I have one interesting thing that I did try, by the way, with a client. I don't know if you noticed or not, but we had to actually identify their pillars and clusters and then offer them how much have they covered of a certain pillar. It required a lot of my input as a strategic person, that what do I define that pillar as, what is included in that pillar, what is excluded in that pillar, and then I had to figure the entire sitemap to finally understand that, okay, have they covered this particular pillar 20%? And then I had to define another layer, which was in that pillar, I want to tell the client how much of it is tofu, mofu, bofu, right? And how much of it are keywords that are long tail commercial navigational. So it was layer by layer. I did do that. It cut a lot of that audit time. But at the same time, I had to give one entire day to clean up that data because I had to go validate it. Also, because their competitors are constantly changing their positioning, changing their strategies. So I had to manually go and also check that, is this up to date, or is this basis what was performing for their competitors, and it's not taking into account what their current positioning looks like. I feel that's another place that you can actually use AI. It's a pretty good time cutter.
Yeah, for documentation and like wherever it is required, like for these mundane tasks. For example, if I want to do GSC analysis for small matrix for each and everything, then of course, like creating all those so many columns by just yourself, of course, for that, for these kind of things, we can use AI, and it actually helps you a lot. But then directly relying on it is not a great idea, and I think we as consultants should start, like how right now in like, of course, little outside of work thing, but how now people have started saying, oh wow, he's a green flag, he's a red flag, she's a green flag, just like this, you know whatever strategies that on these LinkedIn influencers they post, right? Like for example, steal my $5,000 rupees AI agent strategy. I have been making $5,000 in a week. You can make it to steal my workflow. We should start flagging all these things as red flags. Once we start
Yeah.
doing it, why I'm saying that, because now the lack of awareness is there. Like a lot of clients would come to you and tell you that, can you make this AI agent to make things more faster and stuff? Now, just because of those kind of folks, LinkedIn, who post that, wow, I have been making $5,000 a week by creating this bullshit and workflow, right? Now the client has believed that guy, but client has never executed that workflow to actually experience like what the final output is. But he has seen a lot of folks have commented on it, a lot of reposts are there, a lot of likes are there, just because of heavy engagement, because these folks will say comment AI workflow there. So people, all the founders, all the CMOs starts believing on all this crap, and we as genuine consultants who actually
Yeah.
want to provide as much as value there, but we always get stuck in our own thing because we are not able to deliver those fancy stuff. And that's a very brutal truth for all of us. I think we should start flagging all these posts as red flags and green flags. Like
Or
I'm
maybe we should join the bandwagon. And here we are all talking about how, we should, marketing is about simplifying. And I'm just, for like the sake of this conversation, I'm rolling in content marketing and SEO into the bucket of marketing, right? What was the rule of marketing? Make it simple. But these days, people like it when we say, hey, I have a 7-step, 16-step AI workflow. This will do this to this. It'll require you buying 5 tools, subscribing to 5 tools, and then paying me also $2,000 because I want to share my workflow with you. People want the jargons because I think you and I, for instance, when we are explaining things to folks on calls, they're using basic language, but they don't want that. They don't want understandable language. Now, suddenly, I want to say citation. What is a citation? It's an online footprint. We've been saying it for years. We've been talking about press release for years. We've been talking about media mentions for years. Now, all of that is called what? Citation. Like what? I mean, people just wanted to sound fancier, and you're right. There are days, I think I have commented on I don't know how many posts wherever that AI workflow was there, because I was genuinely interested that maybe we are missing something. Maybe we should, for our clients' sake, kind of understand what are these workflows. I have not received a single workflow which was of value. Not the free ones, not the paid ones, right? So when Futurism took out that article, right, about how companies that have spent like thousands of dollars on AI tools are now spending double the money on fixing it, I understand why. Because you gave in on that engagement just because somebody looks prettier online. Somebody posted a selfie saying that they saved 10x hours doing SEO and generated so much out of it. Where is the proof? They are the ones who are saying it. Who else is saying it? And then the engagement groups also. So I feel that sometimes I want to join in and kind of debate with these people in their comment section. Sometimes I do that if you go to my LinkedIn, but other times I'm like, you know what, maybe we should also do the same thing. That's when people will realize the value of what we actually do.
And sometimes I feel that all these folks are actually smarter than Sam Altman, the founder of ChatGPT.
Yes.
That guy has actually like opened this job portal for a content strategist. Now, OpenAI wants to hire a content strategist, but these folks are saying just by using ChatGPT, you can actually change your content game. Like how
I don't know. I don't know. It's like how this is going to be something which is kind of relatable to the Indian audience, but of course we will have people from other countries also, kind of listening to this. But remember how in India we tend to look up to Western trends. But then after a couple of years, those Western trends come a full circle back, and then there's suddenly those Indian cultural roots that are visible in their trends, and we go like, oh, now that's trending. It's the same thing. Now, when you take small businesses and bigger businesses initially had massive layoffs where they said that we're automating X with this. And then now they're slowly getting out of that bubble and hiring folks back, like you mentioned. There's been even, there's ChatGPT that's hiring, there's Meta that's hiring, there's PayPal that's hiring, there's Stripe that's hiring. Uh, they're not fools. And while, yes, they may not require a team of 20 content writers or 20 marketers in general, but they are hiring for those 5 to 6 folks who can use that AI tool with some degree of efficiency and really run their strategy. So they're bringing back, they're willing to pay more for it. So I feel that, that bubble that we had all of this year, and I think it started last year, quarter Q4, it started that AI will replace everybody. I think we are slowly coming to a point where people are realizing that no, you can't really, kind of just replace an expert. Look at the clients that are coming to us. I think most of them are people who've used AI, and now they're coming to us that we've hit a block. Now we don't know what to do next. And I think we just want to come back a whole circle and bring people back into the mix. I mean, yeah, and again, nothing against AI because it's making us a lot efficient, but it was never meant to be a replacement. It was meant to be an enabler. Companies just took it wrong.
like you should use AI as a tool kind of, but people have started using it as a kind of guidelines, and that's where the problem started rising up. I still feel that a lot of folks who use AI for a lot of things, like how are they even sustaining in the industrial? For example, earlier, if for work, if you were requiring 10 to 12 folks, now you would require 5 to 6 folks if you actually know how to use AI for those small and mundane tasks. But if you are using for the whole thing, I'm still not sure like how you are making your website's health more efficient, how you are making your business more efficient. Maybe their sales team is too heavy or smart. I
No,
don't know.
maybe they just know how to package it well. Like I think just fun fact for the listeners, me and Gaurav are right now working on packaging SEO the new way. Reason being, because we speak simple language, what actually works, versus people wanting to hear the fancier language, which is exactly what Gaurav is saying, that maybe they just are good salespeople. They just know how to package it together and be like, oh, you know what, this works. But I think, Gaurav, one thing that I'm noticing, and I'm talking to more marketers about, is that on the face of it, I don't know if you're aware, there is this product which is a CMS, and they have been doing rounds about how they spend millions of dollars on marketing, and that includes marketing tools, because they generate double the amount in this thing. I can't take names again, but I will send it to you on Slack, and anybody who's interested can probably DM me. But that company, if you actually speak to their people, how much are they really getting paid? Not so much. Are their marketing budgets really that big? Not really. But why are they using that narrative on social media to drive their brand? The reason is that they want people to sign up on that product to see how does it work? Should we also use it as a CMS? Is this the solution we've been looking for? I feel half the things right now are just marketing gimmicks, that they're not actual work. And by the time people reach folks like us, it's the damage is already done. We touched on is that success right now varies for clients. What they're measuring, it varies. So, how should marketers really measure the impact and attribution when buyers may actually never click through LLMs or click through AI search? And attribution is not as simple. I mean, I think we have revised our own reports, our reporting dashboards so many times. So, what do you recommend people map? What do you think is accurate? What do you think is an approximation?
So what I really feel here is, so I have had a lot of conversation like with other SEOs also regarding this over a weekend. Some of the folks are telling me like this is what the conclusion was, that whatever your SEO efforts are there, like keyword rankings will never lie to you. If you would say that okay, the clicks are not coming up, impressions are going up, but in that phase also, at least your rankings are there. That means you are doing something out of it. You are actually doing your work there. Now people are clicking there, not clicking there. That is another factor. But if the strategies that you are executing there are there, all your strategies are working for you. If you want to know if whatever your primary or important keywords are, if those are ranking there, right? Now, folks clicking on LLM to come to your website, how you want to measure that? You can actually, I would say, check just the LLM traffic that is coming on your website. Of course, you can actually come up with one trend thing, because what I have been noticing on almost all of my clients is that slowly and slowly that LLM traffic actually is increasing. This is what I noticed, because somehow LLMs are also kind of convincing your target audience or your buyers that you should actually buy this product, you should actually go for this product, because here's what LLM's conclusion is, right? And if people are directly researching there, then there would be a chance that actually people would come on your website. And how I came to this fact, so I was using HubSpot for one of my clients, and there I was searching like what's the referral looks like and how many folks are coming from chat gpt or other LLMs. I have noticed people are actually coming from chat gpt, and you know what's the one difference between the leads that comes from chat gpt and leads that directly converts from organic or any other paid channel? The folks that come from chat gpt, they actually write the problem statement very thoroughly. Like for example, if someone is coming directly from Google or any paid channel, then they would just directly fill a form, like, but there's one text box that is there, write a message, and in bracket we added optional, but the folks that come directly from chat gpt, they actually write a message, the whole message there, because they are in a zone where they have already talked to chat gpt, and chat gpt has already told them what the problem statement is. So they actually come and fill the form that yeah, hey, this my problem is, and I'm facing this, can you please contact me as soon as possible? So they would actually write it in a very long paragraph. And that is the major difference that I have noticed between these two buyers or leads or fill form things. But I would say, if you really want to understand the attribution thing, or like if half of your strategies are working or not, then you can first check the if keywords are ranking or not. This is the most basic thing, because kind of that actually tells you how your strategy is playing. Now of course, Google update and everything, that is there, that is for everyone. And the traffic that is coming from LLM is for everyone only. So I would come to this conclusion only, like you would, like one thing that I've noticed is that the referral traffic from ChatGPT or other LLMs is kind of growing only, and it is more engaging. It is actually more engaging than paid channels, especially paid channel. And there is a very major gap, I would say, in terms of engagement, because I have actually seen the data in my past companies also, right? Where folks who are coming from LinkedIn ads are staying on your website, maybe max to max for 10 seconds, average for 2 seconds. But the folks who are coming directly from ChatGPT are staying on your website more than a minute, more than 50 seconds. So there's a very major gap there. That means ChatGPT is kind of convincing the customers to engage with the website. So yeah, I think this is how you
The
can actually
quality of leads.
yeah, the quality is always there.
Yeah, I think we've received 2 to 3 leads lately, right? And funnily, if anybody takes a look at our own website, I mean, we're fixing it ourselves, but I'm not very proud of saying this, but I don't think we did enough of SEO for ourselves because we've always been client first. But there have been leads that have come to us and have said that they found one of our LinkedIn posts, my LinkedIn posts, and they thought that they should reach out to the company. And they've come through the website, but after speaking to GPT. They were kind enough to bring it up in the conversation that they found it on GPT. Then there was another lady who actually reached out to me for a
Just a
consultation.
second. Okay. I wanted to like break your whole statement into small chunks. So you are telling me that you posted on LinkedIn, and that actually appeared on ChatGPT, and then folks actually connected with you by filling a form on contensify.com,
Yeah.
and on that form they said that we found your this post on ChatGPT.
No, they said it on the call. So I recently became very active on LinkedIn, as you can see. But then on some days, as a founder, you're like, is this really working? Is this really not working? Now, here's what I've been doing. Ever since I've started becoming more active on LinkedIn, on Reddit, on Quora as a founder, and I have it in my tagline, founder Contensify. Our brand keyword search has improved. We haven't done anything else. Second, the particular instance that I'm talking about, I'll give you 2 instances, very funny ones, but that's why I'm sticking to the game right now, right? The lady, I scheduled a call with her and everything. I honestly assumed it's like an organic lead, but to be very honest, organic for us has also dropped just like other companies, right? So I was like, that's interesting, an organic lead coming from the company website, not even my personal website, right? And we're talking and everything, and she's like, I'm interested in hearing more about your LLM SEO services, etc. And then she just happily says that, and rightly so, because I actually found you on ChatGPT. So I said, which article did you find on ChatGPT? Now, here comes the fun part, because she said she did not find the article. She found one of my profile LinkedIn post on ChatGPT, which means it was not a company page social post. It was not a blog. It was there. And then she says, I saw your profile and I saw that you're the founder of this company. So I thought I'll reach out via an official channel. So I reached out to you instead of LinkedIn. I reached out to you through the website. And because on the website we had a dedicated web page, we had the right kind of resources, we spent enough time after reading my LinkedIn post, which was recommended by AI, on our website, going through our blogs, going through our web page to then finally reach out. So by the time she came to us, she was a good 60-70% convinced. Like you said, they've already had that conversation. Now, second instance, which is even more weird because I was again not estimating it. I recently started Reddit. My karma on Reddit, I'm not proud to say this, 27. It's not much. I don't know how to use it. I'm trying to keep it very relevant, no growth hacks, nothing. I had posted 2 things. One, which was about asking people about their content and SEO stack, because companies are not very happy spending money on, marketing tools. So I had simply said that, are there any suggestions? But at the same time, I did not pretend to be a user. I just was like, this is what I do. This is my company. I just need feedback because we are trying to convince our clients to do this. And the engagement was fantastic. Now, one of them, anonymous users, turned out to be a prospect for us. That person found my Reddit thread because they were also looking for such alternatives on Perplexity, specifically because I did ask them which AI platform. They said Perplexity. We found that Reddit thread. That Reddit thread did not have so much engagement. It did not go viral. It did not have anything. It was only framed as a genuine question with a little bit of context into why am I asking people this question. And then they reached out to me, and then again through the website. So you see how different journeys are. It's just about that all of them could very quickly just understand that, okay, I have a content marketing and SEO agency. Why? Because all of my touch points were talking about the same thing. They weren't viral. Not all my posts go viral, but somehow it picked up on it. I mean, the success definitely, like you said, it is definitely the quality of the leads, the conversations that you're having. Second, I would also say the underlying, I think even when marketing began, the one thing that we underestimate is your brand value. Nobody ever bothers about your brand keyword increasing or not. Only the companies that are doing PR, they care about it. Otherwise, they don't. I think it's high time that companies do that, because through all of this activity, our keyword, brand name has increased. Anybody that we are applying the same logic on is seeing the best of results. And I've had two more conversations on this very podcast where they have literally validated the same thing, that we didn't even have to write that we are a marketer at X company or the founder of X company. It was in our tagline and it worked. So it's just coherency and how much you repeat. So I feel another underlying success metric that people can mention is how, their brand is increasing over a period of time with
And
AI.
one more takeaway I would like to take away from this is that Google and all these bots, they actually backtrace your everything, every tiny details. That is why, like, even whenever I talk to clients and whenever I tell them that you have to create your author page, author bio, and everything, I just tell them always add your social links on your
Yeah.
author bio, social media profile links like LinkedIn, Reddit also. So whenever you post something on your website, whatever the article you post on your website, and if you add your author bio and in your author page, if you are giving all the information about yourself, like all the social media links and all, of course, Google bot will go through those social media links, and from there itself, it defines the experience thing. From there, it actually comes to the point that, yeah, this person is this experienced. For example, if you are writing something on content and you have added your LinkedIn link, LinkedIn profile link, Reddit profile link, whatever the conversation that you are having on these platforms, also, right, on Reddit and on LinkedIn, are getting backtraced. That means, right? That is why, and all these things are, that is why very important. That is why we actually recommend all our clients to add your social media links here and there. But what most of them do is they just add their CEO as the author of the blog, and just like the CEO is hardworking and writing all the blogs day and night. And even there, we actually tell them to, even if it is possible, you can add your CEO's LinkedIn profile link and Reddit profile link as well, if the person is actually engaging with a lot of. They usually do not listen. That is another topic, I think. But I think
Yeah.
backtracing is also one of the things that people should consider when. Of course, like this was before LLMs also, like you should mention your LinkedIn profile and everything. But yeah, now I think it has become kind of mandatory for all of us.
Yeah, it's far more important. I think now when I'm having these prospect calls and I'm telling them that, hey, this is something that we have experienced ourselves, apart from clients, because personal story, now they're paying attention. Now they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I see you doing this. I feel that one of the things that, for example, I'm working on this week is turning my own profile into a case study for us. Why? Because it is working for us, and I actually have results to show basis, no inflated numbers. I don't post 3 times a day. We don't post 50 blogs a day. We are not, I think we've not even done justice to our existing blogs by refreshing them. Sad, we will do it this quarter, hopefully. But at the same time, we didn't do any of what the internet is asking us to do. And if it's still working, this means there are certain pieces that are moving the needle. But they're all experiments, and this may vary again from company to company. But they're all experiments. And I think that's what marketing essentially is about. It's about experiments.
One thing that most of us are really bad at is working on ourselves and working on our own assets. Like the thing that you mentioned, that I actually know so many SEOs who actually have their own website, but most of their website are work in progress. These websites, some of their websites are under construction. Some of them
Yeah.
have a live website, but there are no blogs. We are so busy working for our clients that we are like, okay, even if I just do one LinkedIn post, then I am doing
Good
really
job.
good.
But I think that is also cue for all the people who are listening to this. If somebody has so much time to create endless workflows that you can't even implement in your business, or they are creating, I don't know, thousands of posts per week, per day, I don't know what, right? Just imagine the amount of time they're actually spending on working on your site, which is next to zero. That's why the results don't come. That's why those very inflated proposals fall through the cracks. So yes, this is another sign that actual people who are working on things right now, even if AI has made their life easier, I think that we still have a lot of work to do. We can't deprioritize things for sure.
Okay, let's go.
One SEO myth you wish would disappear in the LLM era.
One SEO myth. Write the content by ChatGPT with a crazy prompt that I have given. My prompt will break the internet and it will give you a kick-ass article that is gonna rock on Google for about million years. I want to rip that myth off the internet.
Yeah, thanks for ripping the band-aid right off. I support it. The next one, your go-to AI tool right now for SEO.
For SEO. Okay. For AI workflows, I use Gumloop. Sometimes I use Notebook LLM. For example, if I wanna for example, if I have to go through Google Patent or something, that for that matter, I use Notebook LLM. And for daily use, ChatGPT, of course. ChatGPT rocks.
Totally. I think I'm kind of liking Claude lately, but also I think I am more on the marketing front also. So I kind of like using a fancier tool there. So I like Claude. I am using SEMrush. There's Ahrefs, there's SEMrush, there is. Now you've given me two, three more names. Now I need to try them out too. But yes, at the base of it all is ChatGPT. Come on. Okay, traffic or visibility? What matters more in the age of AI search?
Traffic or visibility, that's a hard one. I would say traffic because visibility, though, of course, we would get it. But how many folks are actually clicking over that visibility factor and how many folks are actually coming on your website? That would matter a lot.
10 on 10 agreed. I would say coherent visibility because coherent visibility will land up in traffic. Because if you're going to show up as different things that most companies do, they keep pivoting their message, right? Keep pivoting the keywords that they want to rank on.
Actually, kind of same thing only because if your visibility increase, that means both the things go hand in hand only, kind of. So, yeah.
But if there's no coherency, I feel that there is a drop there. Like, for example, let's assume I am searching on Gaurav right now. Somebody says he's a social media expert, somebody says he's an SEO expert. I don't know what you're an expert at. Why would I click to your website? I feel that coherent visibility is probably something that brands need to work on. Okay, the most overrated SEO tactic today. Most overrated.
Overrated. Most overrated would be, I don't know, maybe FAQs?
Actually,
Very
yeah, you're
debatable though.
right.
Very debatable, but yeah, kind of like for example, if your content is somewhere around 1500 words and you are adding FAQs of somewhere around 800 words, that's not a great idea. Like that's a very debatable, I think. I don't know why I said it, but yeah, I think it's a very debatable point from my end, actually. But yeah, I
No,
still
you're
feel
right. You're right. I mean, FAQs, unless they're adding value, I don't think they should be just added for the heck of it.
folks are actually adding a lot of FAQs on there. Like even if you want to add FAQs, you just add the one collapsible thing, like if you click it, then the answer will come up like through JavaScript and all. You can do that, but if you are just adding the whole FAQ thing within your article in a full text format, then of course it won't be a great idea. Is what I would say.
I 10 on 10 agree. I think one more SEO tactic that I'm recently seeing, which is around if you want to optimize for the LLMs, you need to optimize for the answer engine. So every heading that you write needs to be like in a flow fashion question, not an exact question. Here is what I think. How I ask or how I talk to AI will differ a lot from how you talk to AI, right? That's just overrated. Can the headings just be simple? I mean, like, what is X? Sure. Why is X important? Sure. That's like clear cut, right? And if you want to, if you're writing the entire piece, if you're writing that entire content piece for a specific audience, of course, you can mention that in the heading. But does it really need to be that long? I don't think so. I mean, it's something that I'm still experimenting with, but no,
Actually, one more thing
that's
that I
no.
find it really overrated is, for example, if we have an article saying what is X, right? What is the difference between X and Y? like very basic thing. Blog article is saying what is X, writing full 500, 600 words saying what is X, what is X, why is X important. Then again, what is Y? What
Yeah.
is Y?
Oh,
Why
yeah.
is Y important? Then after all that, what is X, what is Y? We are saying, okay, now the difference between X and Y.
X versus Y.
So actually, like if your user wanna know like what is difference between X and Y, don't just tell your user first. You need to understand what is A, then B, and now what is X and what. I think that is overrated now. Just give what your user wants as soon as possible, and I think that should be the strategy for now. We all should have.
Yeah, like get to the point.
Yeah.
Don't beat about the bush. Okay, one last question. What is the one underrated skill that every SEO will need in the next 2 years?
Common sense.
I was going to say brains, so high five.
For real, I think common sense, because folks are prioritizing low priority things, and like whatever the errors they see on Google Search Console, they want to fix all of it, thinking that wow, this would work, wasting all your time. I think major thing, like why did I say common sense, is because really need to have a common sense to understand that yeah, I really need to give 10 to 15 hours for this task, and for which task you do not have to give any time at all, right? Once you understand that difference, you have cracked it, kind of.
Absolutely. A good consultant, a good marketer in general will tell you where you need to pump in time, where you need to cut time, and what needs your attention now versus what needs your attention maybe 1 year down the line, not right now. Well, with that, we come to an absolute close because me and Gaurav have like a lot of things to rant on, which might come up in the subsequent episodes because this won't be the
Let's
last
go.
episode that Gaurav is on, right? Thanks, Gaurav, for making it during your chai time. For those who don't know what chai is, tea, and Gaurav loves to like order in tea every single time you're speaking to him. So I did have to barge into his tea time. So thanks, Gaurav, for cutting short your tea time and joining this.